Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Not gonna lie, bit of a change up today, bit of a surprise today. We are in fact looking back at Cold War, not necessarily for some Cold War exclusive content, but for some secret content that we're currently waiting on in Warzone in the form of a brand new weapon. As you guys may recall, a couple of weeks back, we talked about how there was some leaked content for, in theory, Cold War Season 7. We had a couple of new operators that weren't officially fully revealed as like, hey, it's this character specifically, but rather Treyarch said we have more operators coming. And around that same time, we also got some leaks that there were some new weapons found in the game files as well, including a brand new rifle and then also a couple of melees as well. And today, or last night rather, I guess, the Vargo 52 rifle sort of surfaced. And I say sort of because it's really weird how it currently works in game. Today we're breaking down what this new weapon is, how to unlock it, what it means for Warzone. As we go over it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You'll find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. And also right now, all throughout the weekend, my G Fuel discount code WhosImmortal has actually been boosted up to get you 30% off your entire orders. So if you want to grab a new tub, a shaker cup, a starter pack, anything like that, code WhosImmortal has you covered. So as you guys saw to start the video there in the background, I was using the brand new Vargo 52 rifle. If I go ahead and I go into my credit class, you'll see it here in Cold War, assault rifle kilo, the Vargo 52. I've gone ahead and I've max leveled mine so that whenever it does end up dropping in Warzone, perhaps later today, this could be in a couple of weeks, this could be mid-season for season 2, we truly have no idea, but whenever it does end up dropping in Warzone, I'll have it maxed out and ready to go, ready to test it out and give you guys all the latest information on it if anything ends up changing when it drops. Because while we don't have access to this in Warzone as I'm recording this video right now, it is a Cold War weapon, so it's pretty straightforward when it comes to how you want to go about using it in Warzone, right? But as you can see, like I said, mine is max leveled. You get your pretty standard attachments on here. It's nothing too crazy. All the regular optics on here, the regular muzzles, obviously Grease Suppressor is going to be that main one for Warzone. We've got our standard barrels, VDV reinforced, the Task Force. Like most of the other Cold War rifles, it's pretty much copy and paste when it comes to the attachments. Nothing too crazy, nothing really all that unique with this. I was kind of hoping, hey, maybe, you know, it's a late DLC weapon. Perhaps we'll see some special attachments on it, maybe like a different fire rate magazine or something like that, like what we have with Vanguard. But it turns out it is pretty standard. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly do you unlock the Vargo 52 here? Well, the challenge is probably the most interesting part, because as I had to do it, and currently as I'm recording this right now, the only way to unlock this is through Modern Warfare, despite this being a Cold War DLC weapon, just because it's not technically officially released in Cold War yet, right? So the general challenge is to get 1000 damage using an assault rifle in 15 different completed matches. Now, for what it's worth, the completed matches criteria there is not fully accurate, at least not in Modern Warfare. If you go into MWMP and you play 15 different matches and get 1000 damage with a rifle in them and then back out, it should still track. Personally, I played them all out just to ensure that it was working correctly, because you couldn't track, okay, I'm on game 7 out of 15 now. It was strictly off of back-end tracking that was not showing up in the menu, because obviously you couldn't see this weapon in the MW menu. But that said, yeah, if you go into MWMP, you could use an M4, an AS Val, a RAM, any assault rifle. You just gotta deal 1000 damage, which roughly equates to, I would say, 12 to 15 kills to be safe. Technically, the base HP is 100 in Modern Warfare, but sometimes you hit players for, 40 damage and they were already weak, or you don't get the full kill and you hit them for about 35 damage, something like that, right? So I went ahead and made sure I got, 15 kills minimum most games, just to ensure I got that 1000 damage. And then you do that 15 times and it'll actually show up in Modern Warfare multiplayer that you got the Vargo 52 unlocked. I'll go ahead and throw that footage up in the background for you guys right now. But really interesting way how this was, sort of put into the game, right? Because it being a Cold War weapon, you'd think it'd show up in Cold War first. It did with the files, I guess, but it's currently only unlockable through Modern Warfare multiplayer. If that changes in the time that I'm editing this or anything, of course, I'll put something up on the screen. But yeah, the Vargo 52 is officially here. Unfortunately, because this is still a secret weapon and not fully released to the public yet, unless, of course, you go in and do the challenge right now, and not available in Cold War, obviously, we can't test it out in Warzone. It's not available in private matches. It's obviously not available in public matches, so we can't get the full damage stats on it. In Cold War, it is very average, right? I don't think it's really anything special, but that's real no indication of what it's going to be like in obviously Warzone, because the game runs on 2 different engines, and a lot of the stats between most of these weapons here are quite different. Like the grav, pretty good in MP. In Warzone, it's really not all that special. It goes for a lot of these weapons, honestly. So in game, this is what it looks like. It really isn't anything too crazy. If I go ahead and inspect it, I mean, like, it is, guess you can cancel inspections. It is the most average rifle when it comes down to it, right? Like, there's really nothing too crazy about it. You go ahead, you shoot it. It is extremely mediocre here in Cold War multiplayer. But like I said, if we were to compare this to Warzone, we don't really get a full-on comparison just because the games are so different from one another. Now, despite not having full access to it in Warzone, most of the attachments are going to be the same, with the exception of some of the magazines, because they just change the amount sometimes over to Warzone. But we can go ahead and we can preview what the best class setup should be. Of course, we could see some slight differences once it ends up launching if there's anything drastically that changes. But because this is a Cold War rifle, as I said, the class setups are really not all that unique when it comes down to it. So of course, for the optic, vast majority of the time you're going to go for the actual arms 3 times. We're using that on pretty much all our main ranged weapons, right? The Cold War AK, the XM4, the C58, the EM2. So that's sort of a no-brainer there. As I alluded to earlier, the Grew suppressor is going to be that main muzzle for Warzone as well, keeping us off the map, but also giving us better control and velocity. For the barrel, it's pretty much always going to be the task force on these weapons. It's what we use for, obviously, the XM4, the Cold War AK, so on and so forth. So that's always a great option. VDV Reinforced or Liberator are always usually close seconds to that, but task force is pretty much the go-to. Of course, you want to have a Spetsnaz grip or a field agent grip on there as well for most Cold War rifles as well, just to minimize that recoil, make it ideal for range. And of course, we're also going for a extended mag of some sort. Some players like to go for that smaller extended mag just so they have slightly better mobility. Other players like to go for the larger extended mag so they have more ammo, but they're slightly slower. That one is going to totally come down to preference, whether it's 50 or 55 in Warzone, 40 or 45, whatever the case may be. But both of those are going to work really, really well. And that's basically your standard Warzone setup, even though we don't fully have access to it as of right now when I'm recording this. But there is a new secret weapon available. Very sort of weird situation. Very much so like the CX-9, the RAL, the Psykov era, where those just sort of randomly dropped in game. But this one is especially weird because of how it's unlocked right now with Modern Warfare multiplayer, and it not being like fully previewed in Cold War or Warzone until you unlock it, obviously. So yeah, that's what we got going on. That's gonna wrap things up for today. The quick one on the brand new Vargo 52. Hopefully it's a competitive rifle and adds even more so to the very competitive ranged meta that we have in Warzone right now. But if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, whether it be news, updates, loadouts, tips. You're gonna find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.